Shalom, I'm Leslie and I'm here to give you a Hebrew lesson today. We will learn about our focus letter Shin. I've had lots of experiences teaching people how to read and write Hebrew, both children and adults, and teaching children for their bar mitzvah. This over here is the Hebrew alphabet chart. It has all the letters, including the vowels that occur in words. There are many letters that look like each other, and that's one of the special things about Hebrew. You find the Hebrew letters in the Torah. The Torah is the 5 books of Moses between 2 scrolls, and it's parchment that's connected together. And our Hebrew language is used to write the Torah. Today, this is the letter Shin, and this letter Shin comes towards the end of the alphabet. It's right over here. It looks just like this. The Shin makes the sound of shh. Try it. Shh. The sound that you would say when you'd like your child to be quiet. And if a lot of people are talking, for instance, you could say sheket, quiet. And it begins with the letter Shin. What's special about the Shin is it has a dot, and the dot is on the right-hand side. If you take your 3 fingers and you hold them up like this, you made the symbol Shin. Remember, your right hand, and you can have an imaginary dot in this spot to remind you that the Shin has a dot on the right-hand side. As you look at the chart over here, you see that this Shin has a dot, where this one has a Shin, does not have a dot on the right, it's on the left, and we don't want to confuse this sound between that sound. On the top over here, I told you there were vowels. This vowel over here is the one I'm going to show you now. This vowel has a name. In fact, all of these vowels have a name. This one over here is called the kamatz, and the kamatz looks like this. It goes across and then down, like a little T, but that's not the sound, so don't think of that. The kamatz makes the sound of ah. Together, ah. Hebrew is written with vowels, and most of the vowels go below a letter. So in this case, you have sh plus ah, sh plus ah. So now you can make the whole sound. In Hebrew reading, you say the sound of the letter, then the sound of the vowel. Sound of the letter, then the sound of the vowel. So you have sha, sh plus ah, sha. Look at that. First sound, sha. I'm going to switch this vowel and show you a different one. The name of this vowel is called a patach. Patach. It's a line that goes straight across. Now, the patach makes the sound of ah. Looking at the chart, you see the patach right over here. With that thought in mind, we can use the Shin with the ah, and we have sha, sh, ah, sha. So now you know 2 different ways to say sha. Like that. And again, like this. Shin begins many, many, many words. For instance, we have the word shana. Here's a picture of shana, and what they're showing you over here is a picture of a year. Shana means year. Now, there's a Jewish holiday called Rosh Hashanah. It comes at the head of the year. It's the first holiday that Jewish people celebrate. Basically, we call it the new year. So Rosh is your head, Shana is year. So together, it's the head of the year in the Hebrew month Tishrei. People have special things that they do together. They eat together. They might send greeting cards to one another. They go to a synagogue and they pray. And special prayers are said during services. People say it's a mitzvah to hear the shofar blown. What in the world can a shofar be? Well, believe it or not, I have another picture. This is a shofar, a ram's horn. And as you can see, both of these cards have a red letter. The red letter is a Shin. That's the focus letter that I shared with you before. In the word Shana, you see the kamatz underneath the Shin. You see another kamatz underneath this letter. So the shofar is a symbol. It's kind of like a school bell. A long time ago, people wanted to call each other together to pray, to gather people together for a special occasion. We didn't go ding, 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 ring a school bell or ling, 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 ling. Where are you? With our cell phones. They used the shofar to bring people together. It's a ram's horn. This is a shofar. People could hold it like this, or if you better like that, either way. A shofar is generally made out of a ram's horn. Sometimes it could be an antelope's horn or a gazelle's horn. So this is a shofar. The sound comes out over here. It's blown on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. That's another holiday that we'll learn about at another time. And I should have mentioned to you that the shofar makes 3 different kinds of sounds that the shofar blower learns how to do when they're called at a synagogue. There are 3 different sounds: shavarim, teruah, tekiyah. And a large, long sound, a tekiyah gedolah. Another word that begins with the Shin is the word Shushan. Shushan was the capital of ancient Persia. And today, Persia is in Iran, as you know. The story of Shushan, the Purim story, took place in Shushan. So there's the letter Shin again in red. It's over here, and you can see it. Next, I want to show you another picture that begins with the letter Shin. The word is Shabbat. Shabbat is this word over here, and you recognize the Shin that's in red. You also see the little patach, and you also see the kamatz. So these happen in a lot of different words. You see the patach, and you see the kamatz. And what you see over here is a family celebrating the Sabbath, the Shabbat, on the 7th day. It's a day of rest. Shabbat is the most important of all the Jewish holidays. It begins on Friday at sundown and ends Saturday when the first 3 stars come out. When God created the world, God rested on the 7th day. And on Shabbat, we follow that example between Friday and Saturday. On the Sabbath, what we do first is we light candles, our nerot. After we light candles, we bless the wine, yayin. And after we bless the wine, we have challah. Challah. So those are the 3 things that I would have at my family, with my family. I would make sure I had all of these supplies before the Sabbath begins. for Shabbat is our word that we'll remember every Friday now. You'll have Shabbat with these things. Guess what? You're ready to learn your next letter in the Hebrew word Shabbat. Here's this big word which looks like to you a hard word for you to read, but it surely is not. It has that shin. And guess what? Here's the next letter, is the bet. The bet is the second letter of our Hebrew alphabet. This is the first one. This is the second one. The bet has a dot in the middle, which we call a dagesh. The bet reminds me of a sailboat with the ball bouncing in the boat. That's my idea, so I can remember the name of the letter and the sound of bet. Bet makes the sound of b, b, a B. There's a dot in the middle. It's rounded and straight. And remember, there's a little bit of an overhang because that sailboat looks like that. You have to visualize your sailboat with the ball bouncing, whoops, inside of it. Now, with the b sound, with the ah, like this, you have ba. B plus ah, ba. Now you can switch that ah sound out and use the other sound that makes ah, the other vowel, that makes the ah, and you have ba. B plus ah is ba. We can also add another letter with ba. So now, what are you going to do? You're going to say the sound of the b, then the ah below it, and end it with a sh. So you have a chance to go bash. And you're going to read from top to bottom, right to left. You say the sound ba-sh, ba-sh, and together, bash. And I know that it's difficult at first, but our goal is to read the whole word out. Bash. What if you did this? We're going to change this nonsense word, and you have sh, ah, b. Sh, ah, b. Shab. Together, shab. These are nonsense words, so you will not be able to translate it. What would happen if you had a word that looked like this, or a syllables that look like this? What would you do? Well, you would begin with the shin. You'd say the sound of the shin. Sh, ah, sh, ah, b, ah. Together, sha, ba, sha, ba. We can switch the sides. This time we begin with the sound b. Ba, sha, ba, sha, ba, sha. Together, ba, sha. A word that begins with bet is bayit, which looks like was the word for house. A bayit is a house. You folks, you must be wondering, is there more? Oh, look at all of these left to learn. So right now, give yourself a round of applause for learning the bet, making the sound of b, for learning the sound of shin, making the sound of sh, learning the vowel kamatz, making the sound of ah, the patach, making the sound of ah. And I said the word Shabbat a few times. Shabbat, we learned the beginning, sha, ba. Now I'm making that sound of t, t, t. Well, this is a tav. The tav looks like this in Shabbat. Now, this is a tav. On the chart, you see that tav right over here. It's rounded, and it connects. It has an overhang over here, and it connects a little bit towards the end. It comes down, and it has a little turning toe, or a turning tapping toe, to remember the sound of the T. And if you think of the word Torah that I talked to you about, you can pretend, if you like to pretend to be a letter. You can put your hands up in the air like this, turn your head, and walk like a Torah, and tap, 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 and tap. You're remembering the Torah has 2 scrolls. And you turn your head, and you tap the Torah. So that's my demonstration of a Torah that turns with a tapping toe as you walk from right to left. All said and do, the Torah can be looks like that. Basically, the Torah starts with a tav, and there's another form of the tav that has a dagesh in it. Both of them make the sound t, 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 t. The word Shabbat ends like this. We can take the letters that we have learned before and put them together. And I wonder if you can figure out what I'm saying or what the cards will be saying. Here we have the Shah. Add it with the Tav. Together, top to bottom now. Sh, ah, t. Together it says shot, shot. Switch it out, around and around. You have tash, tash. This is also a nonsense word, tash. You could switch out the vowel, kamatz, and add the vowel patach with the letter tav. And you would get this word sound tash, tash. You can have a word with 3 letters, or 4 letters, or 10 letters. That's the longest that I have seen. And I think I should have had Velcro here. Well, this is Shah. This is Ta. And if it ended with this bet, let me see if I can do that. Now you have a whole nonsense word. Top to bottom, you have Shah, Ta, B. Shatab. And there I combined 3 of the letters that you learned. And this is easy once you get the practice of reading from top to bottom, right to left, top to bottom, right to left. So you're saying the sounds that you see. Never, never, never say the name of the letter. You remember there are all different vowels, and it's easiest when you learn them 1 or 2 at a time. If you learn the letters slowly, a couple at a time, or even 1 at a time and practice it with the other letters, you'll be able to read longer and longer words. Over here is a long word. I wouldn't expect you to be able to read that the first time, but you do see the letter bet in this word. And you see the ah over there. It's a long word. Another word that has a bet and the ah over there. So these are longer words using our vowels and our letters. Over here, we learned the bet, first row, and then we learned the shin, the last row, and then we learned the tav and the tav on the last row over here. You're looking at this chart and you're probably wondering, why am I not pointing to the letter beside it, or the little symbol for whatever you might think it is? It's not a picture of the letter. It's called the cursive form, or the script form of a letter. Over here, this is more of the print that you'd see in prayer books, or you might see it in textbooks as you're learning to read words. But the script one is the everyday writing that people use to communicate to one another. Sometimes children learn how to make these letters in block print using stick figures, like across, down, up, with a diagonal line for the shin with the dot. So they can use these to read and write like this with those letters. A textbook that's often used is this in a school classroom. And in here, as you can see, there are many words and many letters to learn. And you can learn other everyday words or words used in prayer. In my classes that I have, I let people ask me words. If I can find them in here, I point it out. If not, they'll get the meaning. Or if I'm not familiar with the word, I'll research it. We learn how to count. We learn how to count from 1 to 10. We learn some everyday words in our class, like people in the family, things in the school, parts of our body. Our head you already know, because I told you Rosh begins the word for Rosh Hashanah, which is head of the year. More share in here. Sometimes you might be interested in finding books that have explanations about different symbols in Judaism. And a book, something similar to this or other ones, you can find information about other symbols. And I spoke of a Torah. This is what a Torah looks like opened up. And it's written with a special quill pen. And you can't make any mistakes in a book like this in writing the words, because if the scribe makes a mistake, the scribe would have to start again on that part of the parchment that's sewn together. And these are the letters that you see inside. No vowel points, so the scribe is very familiar with what he's writing or what he's copying from. So let's review. Today, I've had the chance to teach you about the vowel ah, the come-outs. And I've had a chance to teach you about the letter bet. I've had the chance to teach you about the letter tav. and the Tav. And we started with the letter Shin. You're able now to read the word Shabbat that appears over here. Shabbat, the holiday that occurs at the end of the week. Every week we have Shabbat, and now you can read it, and you can sing a song, Shabbat Shalom, Sabbath peace, a Sabbath peace. You got the chance to see a shofar blown on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur to call people together. You got a chance to see a book that has symbols of Judaism. You got to learn a chance to learn something about Shushan, the ancient city in Persia. You learned the word Shana, which means year. And I told you that Rosh Hashanah was the head of the year, a holiday that occurs on the first day of the Hebrew month of Tishrei. If you're interested in learning more Hebrew, I'm available to teach others how to read words with these letters and put them together with vowel points. I'm Leslie, and I can be reached at the number on your screen, 281-961-4773. Shalom, chaverim, shalom. Goodbye, students. Lehitraot, until we meet again.
Smile.